Well, we all love capturing meaningful memories and moments, and there's no better way to do it than with photography. Our guest today is here to tell us about her business where she did just that. Welcome to Celebrate Michigan, the show produced on the campus of Madonna University. I'm Chris Benson. Today's guest is a Madonna alum. I remember when she was here just a few years ago, and she's going to talk about her passion for photography, and I would say she also has a passion for life that comes through in that format. Please welcome Cristina Paglia to the show today.
Hi.
Hi, it's so glad to have you back.
I'm happy to be back.
Well, you've gone and seen the world and you're back to tell us about it, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Okay, excellent. So photography, that's your jam, if you will. Yeah. Tell me about your first camera.
So my first camera, I had a Canon Rebel SL1, and I bought it specifically for a class I was taking here. It was editing one. Okay. And I went to a local pawn shop and I bought like a $200 camera, and that's what got me through college here.
Wow, do you still have that camera?
I do still have it, but I upgraded now to Sony. So I shoot on, I have two Sony A7 IIIs and I have this Sony A6000 as well.
Wow.
So
how has that changed? It's just a couple, no, it's not just a couple years, but it's not a long span of time. How have cameras changed? Has it been significant or pretty consistent?
So I started on the Canon was a little crop sensor, and I'm now full frame mirrorless. So it is a change. Okay. So I can, there's a lot more, a little more advanced now. Okay. So.
For the lay person who is not, like, you're throwing some major terms around there. You clearly learned a lot. What would the difference look like for someone like me who's using that camera? Like, how has the technology changed in just that short amount of time?
So with the mirrorless, it does better in low light. Okay. I could say that's probably the biggest benefit for me, at least. And then I wouldn't know how to explain it otherwise. With the full frame and like crop sensor, it's just smaller. And when you put a lens on, like this one's 20 millimeters. If I have it with this on, it'll kind of go up to 35-ish. Whereas full frame, I don't know how
this does a lot more than my phone. Or actually, phones are doing a lot more too. So that's incredible. I'm just in awe of all these different features that it has, and this has allowed you to do something that you love, which is capturing moments. Yeah. So what caused you to be attracted to photography? Do you remember kind of how you got down that road?
Yeah, so I actually studied film, and I still do video. Yeah. But photography I just like the documentary style of just like capturing a moment in one picture and just like getting people's like real reactions and smiles. Like the video is fun, and I still do the video, and you can get a lot of emotion out of it. But I feel like it's almost harder to get it out of photos, and I like that challenge.
Oh, the challenge of it. Because today, you know, we see so many like, you know, video reels and all that kind of stuff, and it's a lot of action, but I am partial to just that still image, that one moment in time that can never be created. And it sounds like you are fond of that as well.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay. So tell us where photography has taken you.
Yeah, so I primarily shoot in the Metro Detroit area. I do have a studio in Ferndale, but I shoot all over. A lot of my weddings are actually in Indiana, and then next year I'm doing a wedding in Jamaica. So I am starting to go international. I'm very excited. I'm hoping for more all over. My goal is Europe, but we'll see.
Oh, wow. So. Good to have goals. Yeah. Tell us about your studio.
So my studio it's a cute little space downtown Ferndale. It's right above like the selfie museum. I just do headshots, newborns, all that good stuff in there. So it's nice. It's nice to go to work, because not having like a set 9 to 5, it's nice to have a place to go sit down and work. Because if I'm at home, I'll do the dishes, I'll clean up. Whereas if I'm there, I'll sit down at my desk and I'll work, which is nice. So.
And you have a company. And the name is
Rosa Studios.
Okay, so tell us about you got to tell us the behind the scenes of the name.
The name. Okay, so originally it was Teodoro Photo, which is just Italian and no one could say it. But it was because my great grandma used to always say that she loved me and adored me more than her tomato sauce, which was Ti amo e Teodoro con la salsa de pomodoro.
What a great story.
So then I switched it down to T, and then Rosa is my middle name, and then Studios. So I don't have to focus on just photo or video or audio. I can do all of them in one. Wow. So T Rosa Studios.
That's incredible. So how did you go from just taking photos to having a studio to having a company? Like, what was the order of that?
Yeah, so I was actually a production intern here at Madonna University, and I was afforded so many great opportunities. I got to work directly in the office with the president, the vice president, and Cam Kirkshank was working here at the time. He was friends with the CEO of a nonprofit. He got me an internship there.
Oh, wow.
And they created a position for me to be full-time doing the same thing that I do here. And then around 2021, I had such a big clientele that I went off and did my own thing, and now they're now my client, and I contract with them, and they use me on an as-needed basis for their photo and videos.
Wow.
So it was a very quick timeline from 2019 to 2021 that all happened.
Came together.
Yeah.
In the middle of COVID and everything else.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So.
And the moral of the story for any students out there, no matter where they're going to school, is go and do internships because they could pay off.
And be involved on campus.
Okay, so. Excellent. So what kind of services do you provide through your studio?
Yeah, so photography, videography. I do a lot of video for corporate companies. So if they have a commercial going out, I'll go and I'll shoot the B-roll for them or the footage for them. I do a lot of videos for their websites, stuff like that. So mission statements. I've done radio spots. And yeah, pretty much anything. I'm down to do whatever. It's fun for me. So
well, and it's a time where all of those mediums are so important. We are such a visual society that I imagine that business is just booming.
It is booming. So especially with weddings, we're just getting into wedding season. So it's almost every day, and I love it. I can't get enough of it.
Oh, I can tell. There's an energy here that I'm sure is translating in this medium too. Well, I hate that we have to take a break, but we do have to take a break. When we come back, we'll hear more from Cristina, and you'll get to see a little bit of her work. So stay tuned.
Maria, so how's work?
It was fourth period biology. Our students just weren't getting how easily viruses spread. So Miss Bell and I had them role play a zombie virus outbreak. By the time they had all learned the lesson, all the living were dead. Hey, how's your job going?
That big sales meeting I planned? Next year, I might get to go.
Cool.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
I want to eat apples and bananas. I need to eat apples and bananas. Why can't I eat apples and bananas?
Support the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks to help provide meals to those in need. Join us at feedingamerica.org.
Kickflip 6 stairs takes determination. So will getting into college. I've got what it takes. So do you.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and joining me today is Cristina Paglia, and we're going to learn a little bit more about T. Rosa Studios, but I also want to ask her about just your photographs. So I know we're going to see some in a minute, but how has your photography changed over the years? Because, you know, we learn more things, and how do you feel when you look back at some of those initial photographs that you took?
Oh, when I look back at those initial photographs, I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I doing? But at the time, it worked with what was in. But I've definitely learned a lot throughout the years, and you know, with practice comes evolution. So I before was a lot like posing, and now I'm more into prompts, and so it just comes off more natural, the photos now, I think. And my editing style has changed so much too. So.
And so that's a big part of photography that a lot of us lay people who are not professionals at it don't think about, is the editing piece, right?
Yeah.
So when you take pictures, how much time, like there's the actual photo, we don't know. Tell us about the editing process. Does it take a lot of time?
It takes me a lot of time because I am very particular with pictures. So I like, if I take, say, 500 photos in a session, it's hard for me to get that number under 200 or 100 because I feel like they need to see every little angle. Like they need to pick which one they like best.
And is that typical? Like in a session, would you take 500 photos? Because that seems like so many. Really?
So for 30-minute to an hour session, I definitely take a lot of photos. But the editing, it takes me a while. I'd say per hour of editing, it probably takes me 3 or 4 hours to go through.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, we just see the finished product and we're like, oh, that's amazing. It just came out that way. But you're like, no, there was things that had to be done.
Yeah.
Well, I know you brought some video for us to look at. So let's take a look at that and then just talk us through some of these pieces that we're going to see.
So this was for Allure Designs with Janine Cassatt. I'm pretty sure she was on the show here as well. Yeah. But I just a lot of fun graduations. Yeah. So you'll see a lot of action here. So I focus on prompts over posing, just to get the natural style or the natural reactions from people and emotions. That one before was really cool. That was actually Nick Lidstrom and Thomas Holstrom from the Red Wings.
I did
in the chairs. In the chairs, yeah. Wow. So I worked with the Jamie Daniels Foundation and their nonprofit, and they put on this big event, and it's really cool the random stuff I get to do. So these are just collages. You'll see just seniors, corporate stuff. There's some babies in there.
Oh, you gotta do babies,
always,
right?
Yeah.
Wow. So much that we just saw that I want to ask about. I loved the back. You talked about the Lidstrom picture, you know, and just the big chairs, lots of color. Saw you in there. So the background's important, I imagine. You got to really have an eye for that. I don't have an eye for that. So what inspires you when you're getting ready to take that picture, and how do you help people get in the right kind of background? Yeah.
So initially, when I have my when I talk with my clients before we go on our sessions, I ask them what they're looking for. So if it's an engagement session and they want something like grand and elegant, usually I'm taking them to the Fisher Building, DIA, or Guardian Building. If they want something more laid back, you know, we could go, I had the Z-Lot in there in downtown Detroit, you know. So there's a lot of different places. I usually go off what the vibe they're going for. Sometimes I'll ask for Pinterest mood boards, and I try to tailor it to what they're looking for. Yeah. So
graduation photos are quite a thing. And so I'm noticing that, you know, it seemed like the old, like, you know, posed photo where you've got the regalia on and you're standing with in front of a flag or you know, with a diploma or something. That is gone. I'm seeing pictures where people are taking, they just have the cap on and, you know, they've got a dress or, you know, a suit or, you know, taking pieces of the regalia to different places. What kind of trends are you seeing related to graduation photos? They're so different.
The champagne pop is a big thing.
That's
so
a big
I actually include it with my sessions. If they're over 21, I will provide the champagne, but that's always the fun, you know, photo to have them spraying it everywhere. But that's one of the biggest things. And then people just like to have variety. I mean, for grandma's table to have, you know, maybe with the gown, maybe without the gown. So.
And a baby pictures, I saw a ton of those. What's the, you know, babies and children, what kind of things are you doing? What are some of the, you know, trends right now in babies and children? What are backgrounds or locations or themes?
So newborns I typically do in studio or at people's homes. So if they have a nursery set up, a lot of the times people like to do those newborn sessions in their own homes, in their own nurseries, because then when they do put the photos up, it matches their aesthetic.
Never thought of that.
Yeah.
Okay, that would just kind of go right with it, right?
And they're more like lifestyle now, I feel like, is the trend. Like people in their environments and just being and taking photos.
Well, and some people are really nervous and awkward in front of a photo, like they don't quite know how to smile or what to do. So what kind of things do you do so that they can just, because your photos that we saw, people looked like you captured really natural expressions. They didn't look
Thank you.
fake, like, you know what I mean? So what do you do with various audiences you work with?
So I do a lot of, like I said, prompts over posing. So I'll have people walk towards me and bump hips. I'll have them do silly things like whisper 5 vegetables in this accent, and it just gets them to laugh. I'll have them make fun of each other. Sometimes it's hard with the guys because they don't want the photos, so I'll team up with the fiance, girlfriend, and we'll make fun of him to make him laugh. So
these are interesting strategies.
So there's a lot, and then my favorite one for getting people to smile is to say yeah, and then afterwards smile afterwards is what is the most natural smile, and then sometimes they'll laugh like you're crazy, and then that's even better. So
these are all techniques I'm hoping our audience is like paying attention to, because I've seen a lot of pretty not great photos, you know, like I'm sure when you look out there on social media you see some and you've got to be like, ooh, maybe they could, you know, make them smile a little more.
Yeah, but again, I was there. So I know.
Everybody's got to start somewhere, right? Yeah. Awesome. Well, again, we are at a break. We'll be right back again with Cristina, where you can hear a little bit more about maybe some tips about how to help you with your photographs. Stay tuned.
You realize that 49 million Americans struggle with hunger? That's 1 out of every 6 Americans.
These people are around us every day. They're our friends, they're our coworkers, their kids go to school with our kids.
Sometimes we're not even aware that they're struggling. This problem is closer than you think. But so is the solution.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
So my uncle calls and he says he's dizzy and he's losing his balance. I'm like, Unc, you want me to take you to a doctor? He's like, no, I'm gonna look up the symptoms. I said, your symptoms are you're dizzy and you're losing your balance. So he said, I can't get on the internet because my arm is numb. I said, well, use your good arm and dial 911.
Stroke's no joke. If you or someone you love is showing symptoms of stroke, don't wait because it might be too late. Dial 911. Time lost is brain lost.
A full life, measured in seats, starts with the right ones early on. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Learn how to prevent deaths and injuries by using the right car seat for your child's age and size.
Welcome back to Celebrate Michigan. I'm Chris Benson, and again, I'm joined by Cristina Paglia, who is talking to us about the future of T. Rosa Studios. So I have to ask you this first. Did you ever think you'd be where you are now?
No.
No?
No,
This was a surprise, or did you, like, it wasn't like, I'm doing this, I'm going to own my own business, I'm going to take care of all that?
I did not think I was going to go this route. I thought for sure I was going to go somewhere else, like New York or, you know, LA, and I was going to be on a movie set or, you know, like work on a TV show. And I found out quickly that's not what I wanted, and I liked being here in Michigan, and I liked, I guess, having the freedom to do anything and not being confined to one particular job, I guess.
It sounds like it was a process that you went through, you've arrived at a place that you're like, I feel good about it.
Very happy about it, yes.
Oh, now I can tell you love photography, you love taking pictures. I loved seeing the footage of you taking the pictures.
Yeah.
That was awesome, very meta. But I have to imagine that there's times when we, the subjects of your photos, are challenging for you. So, or videos that, you know, your subject doesn't always cooperate, I imagine. So what are some of the pet peeves you have or the challenges that you've had as a photographer in trying to capture the moment?
Yeah, so one of the biggest things, and it's not a pet peeve, more so of the, like, people really wanting me to, like, change their body and like their facial features, and that's something I completely refuse to do. I even put it in my contracts.
Really?
I do, because I think everyone is beautiful as they are.
Wow.
And so I'm not a fan of like the manipulating of the like yourself and how you look. So
is there a lot of manipulating of photos out in the business?
I feel like more in the celebrity side of it, yes. And a lot of people want to look like that, but you already do, so that's
well, and I applaud you for putting that, feeling so strongly about it, and then putting it in your contract, and then being upfront with people, because we are in a place, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about this, where, you know, we see altered images and people don't even realize it.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things is when we're taking the pictures and I'll show them the screen and they're like, oh, that's me? And I'm like, yeah, see, I told you, you look great. So
with the, you know, again, you, from the photos that we saw, you seem to capture parts and emotions and, you know, actions that people are taking that they don't normally see themselves in, you know?
Exactly.
And like you said, those different activities that you have, which put them in a more comfortable feel.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Exactly.
So, okay, so you're a small business owner. Yes. What advice would you have for anyone who's thinking about doing this?
Don't give up.
Okay. Okay.
I read a lot of books, like self-help books, motivational books. Grit by Angela Duckworth is one of my favorite.
Oh, it's a great book. She's fantastic.
She is fantastic. I'm so happy that you've read that. But there's just a whole bunch of books, and then every time an author says that they read this from another book, I'll go read that book. And I guess just like changing your mindset and really believing that anything is possible, and you can't set a limit for yourself. You gotta just keep going.
And Dr. Duckworth, you just mentioned, she talks about being gritty. What's your definition? Like, just what is your definition of gritty? Like, what
Passion
is it?
and perseverance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you feel like you've had to do that in your life?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And why do you think? What are the benefits? Like, what do people reap on the other side? Because you're on the other side. Like, you've seen success. So what do you think people need to hear to keep them going?
I just find out what makes your heart sing and go for it.
Do that thing, right?
Do that thing. You only have one life, so why spend it doing something that doesn't make you happy?
Wow. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
What's in the future for you, for T. Rosa Studios?
The future for T. Rosa Studios, I am hoping to eventually get to the point where I can build a team and possibly mentor others and, you know, give back what I've learned and help pretty much just like do more, go more places, you know. I want to travel, you know, do more elopements maybe in Europe, like I said earlier.
Oh yeah, I know. I was going to say, if you didn't mention Europe, I was going to put that out in the universe to make sure that we bring that around.
So I guess just doing more and seeing how it grows, and
And where can people find you? What's your website, socials, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so my website is trosastudios.com, and then if you scroll to the bottom, it has all of my social media sites, but I'm pretty much just T. Rosa Studios across the board.
Okay.
on social.
So, favorite picture that you've ever taken? Is there one? Could you pick one?
I have to say my niece, when she was born, I did her newborn photos. And that was like a full, I was crying the whole time. So, but they're just so cute. And I just like, because she's so cute. And it was like everything, just to be able to, I mean, that was the day I met her. So it was like,
there was a lot going on there. And I have to ask, does your family always ask you to take photos at every, are you like, is that your family role?
I'm the go-to photographer, and I'm very happy about it, so.
You step up for it. Do you ever get in any of those photos, though?
No. No.
Is it always just the fam? And Christina's like over here taking the picture, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to ask, last question before we go. How can I take a good selfie? Is it possible to take a good selfie?
It is possible to take a good selfie. I use an app called Lens Buddy to take my selfies, and I just put my phone on it, and it'll take as many photos instead of a video, and you can stand away from it, and you can hands-free it, and it works. You can get your motion shots, all the things.
See, take it from the pro here. Well, thank you so much for coming and spending time with us and helping us and sharing the success of T. Rosa Studios with us today, and your personal success. We're excited about that. Love it. Well, and unfortunately we've run out of time, but thank you for joining us today and sharing in our excitement about all the wonderful things that happen in the Mitten State. We love that you are celebrating Michigan with us, and we'll see you next time.